infrastructure and networking involved, so that's going to be really good. And then Arxis is proven to be beast at making good online play, right? Like, I mean, they helped with DNF Duel, they have Granblue, they have Guilty Gear Strive, they retrofitted their old games with rollback ready. Like, Arxis is beast at doing rollback now. And then Street Fighter has awesome netcode too. Our Hunter x Hunter takeaway is that even though the game has bad online play, we live in a world where this is now not the norm. You know, it's like weird that a game would come out with bad online play in the year 2025. This one's not even me though. This one's not even me. First of all, Under Night is like the 5th most entered game at Evo, and Granblue's fucking way up there, so I don't know what you're talking about. This one's not even me. You gotta replace this with this guy. Put this cat there. You said Diaphone seems like he's having a decent experience. I watched him play. Every match I've seen him play has looked laggy as fuck.
Oh, I am with that.
But you have to remember this right here. Do you see this at the bottom here? His rollback frames 0, 1, 4, 3, 4. Where's the ping? 70 ping, rollback frames 7. Every match I've watched him play, I was watching him this morning. Every match I've watched him play,
Lady Luck is smiling.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. "30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned. been slain. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Executed. Been slain. An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. Turret plating will fall soon. An ally has been slain. turret has been destroyed.
has looked bad. But you have to remember this part right here. I got offered a sponsor stream as well. I didn't accept it though. But the thing is like I'm down to this character seems cheap, by the way. I think this game's gonna be really funny to watch. This guy seems cool too. What the fuck? It's a shame because I think if they did like a test first, they probably could have gotten more feedback and then fixed it maybe. But that also maybe. What the fuck is this combo? Is this an infinite? Wait, that looks hype. But this game might be. I'm gonna buy this game. Oh, wait, how long? Let me see this. Let me see what you got. Boom, 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 boom. How many can you do? Okay, there's a limit. Oh my god, he got fucking mixed, brother. Dude, tell me he gets this shit mid-screen. Oh, I was about to get hype. Diavone is getting fucking mixed. Ooh, this character seems fucking cheap. This character.
This was one. Just don't know. Where bring I feel like these three are some. Phew. Ball. I think Mike is. Okay, so what these? Dawn. You pin some. Maybe it's. I don't know. Something. Stop. The Ross. Mike. That here. Clear? Clear. Yeah. Yes. Uh. Good. Salad. Salad. A what? It might be. Starts with a vowel, but four. Hi. E and F. Oh. Okay. Like paste. Okay. Shit. Two. Oh, I. Well, Friday. 12. Oh. uh, Doctor. Doc. What if it wasn't? Gar. Oh, not. Like, go have. I'll do. Really? No, it's another. That's there's also I think not melee or that. It's Brawl. They didn't even try.
It seems cheap and fun. What is this? Scythe? Okay. Oh, but you died to the fish.
The night may be eternal, but I'll always keep a seat warm for you.
This is the biggest debate in Valorant. No, it's not Vandal versus Phantom, no, it's not Veshjet versus Shazam, it's a simple question with a not-so-simple answer. What is the best and most efficient way to climb ranks? Well, I've reached Radiant 23 times and I've successfully improved thousands of players since 2020. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you my experience from various different players that I've coached. In Valorant, same as in real life, it's much more efficient and better for you to become a master of few things rather than a jack of all trades. Quick side note, this doesn't apply to weapons, because mastering different weapons is very important. It allows you to be more versatile and to expand your options with every agent. So no matter which character you play, in every game you have all of the same weapons at your disposal, and by mastering each one of them, you will have more options to either outplay or to counter your enemies. You will instantly boost your versatility, which is one of the most important skills. But do you know what else is versatile and it can help you with various different problems? Exit lag! This software allows you to automatically optimize your PC and internet connection in order to have the absolutely, and it makes my connections, because at that point you're basically asking from your teammates to carry you, and let's be honest, you're not playing in VCT, you're trying to climb in the ranked solo queue jungle, where most of the times you need to be the carry. Then it must be a good idea to main 4 agents, one from each category, in order to learn multiple different playstyles and roles. Well, that is also bad, so let me explain. Agents, each with their that goes through your mind every single round, or
Have you never had social interactions where you have to gauge whether or not the joke's gonna land well or not? If you haven't done that before, go outside and make some friends. Everyone else understands that yes, you do a preemptive calculation to figure out whether or not something will land well or not. And unfortunately, in the case of Steven's joke, it landed well with his base and certain liberals who are very angry at the hypocrisy of the right, and it didn't land well with anybody else that he might try to build a relationship with later.
Yes,
and in fact,
but wait,
it
if
is
you're
the
talking about
result
social interactions,
nuking
that's
him from
every
the pitch.
single offensive joke ever. It lands well with your group, and it doesn't.
The battle is really raging out there.
Land well with the other group. The only difference is here we're trying to say like, oh my god, like our jokes have to land well with literally everybody or else we're going to be offended over it.
Steven, you've gotten lazy in your argumentation. I'm not that guy. I talk about George Floyd.
I'm not talking about you. This ain't about you, Chief. This isn't about you. This isn't about you. I don't care about you.
Yes, they did view you as liberal. I don't know what the to tell you because I get the feedback all the time.
If he's the one good one, then why would they vote for them?
With Destiny.
My own existence. Then you get on my existence, right? You, as you who exist
I
in
just
this
think you're
community.
collecting the
of
wrong
course-
data.
Welcome back. How's it going out there?
welcome, welcome, one and all, to yet another episode of WIC TV. It's a cross-ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. Today, we are going to be talking about edgy jokes, dehumanization, and whether or not influencers, public figures, etc., on our side, the anti-Trump side, have a responsibility to behave well in public settings. As most of you are aware, after the Texas floods, Destiny put out a tweet saying the following: I heard God killed those kids because they were using NordVPN promo code Destiny to get around the Texas ban. This is not the first time Destiny is engaged in such dark humor. Asmongold recently made a comment that he thinks such statements and jokes are counterproductive and work against his goals. So we're going to talk about it today. Is this humor a good way to expose Republican hypocrisy and raise awareness of issues? Or is it undermining the work of opposing Trump? How dark woke, quote unquote, should we go? Does when they go low, we go lower help us or hurt us? And we've got quite the cast to talk about it, including the man himself. We're just going to go around, quick opening thoughts, and then we'll get into the meat of it. We're going to start with counterpoints. Go ahead.
Yeah, so in my opinion, it's not about dark, edgy jokes in particular. Obviously, we all like a good step joke every now and then. That's not the problem. The problem is what is gained and what is lost. Also, the hybridization of alt media and mainstream media. That's the real question here. Just as an example, I did get it confirmed that roughly billions of dollars were spent on advertising in the 2024 election, and roughly $100 million got spent on newspaper ads by the Democratic Party in 2024. Democrats are scared of alternative media. The reason why they're scared of alternative media is because we have people like Vosh jerking off to kitty horse porn. We have people like Hassan, hanging out with terrorists, and we got Destiny talking about dead kids in Texas and how they deserve to die because they were jerked to, porn with using a VPN. So this is the kind of that is going to push normies away. It's going to push the mainstream away. It's going to push those dollars away. And so as a result, it's not whether or not you can make up jokes. I don't give a shit about that. What I give a shit about is we got real work to do.
Okay, Destiny, answer for your crimes.
I don't really think there's much of a downside unless you let there be a downside. I think that conservatives are allowed to have humor. I thought comedy was legal again. And I think that the big issue with Democrats being scared of alternative media is that they're scared of like any environment that they don't have like optimal control over. And I think they dramatically overestimate how much the public gives about edgy jokes. I think it has less to do with edgy jokes and more to do with who has the power in the situation. And so if you have the power, it's unironically like what conservatives used to say, find out who you can't make fun of, and then you'll find out who controls you. And for a lot of things, yeah, conservatives can just make the most insane jokes ever and be fine, and Democrats have to be like tiptoeing around every single topic. I think it's funny to make jokes, and we should keep making jokes.
Hey, we're gonna talk about it, I'm sure.
Nice work out there. Keep up the pressure. A good tactical choice. I didn't like that one either. Here's a gold for the trouble. I like where you're going with this.
Not so erudite. Kyla, please.
Yeah, so I wanted to have this conversation because I care about real political outcomes. I think if we claim to be evidence-based, left-leaning commentators who want to fight misinfo and push for positive change, we need to be honest about what works. So it's fine for advocacy to reflect our personalities, but if we just do something because it feels good, it's probably important that we don't confuse that with what's effective. And what I would argue for is we don't have to be maximally effective at all times, right? I would never advocate for that necessarily. But the evidence typically shows, whether it's psychological theory or basic behavioral science, that shame and being super nasty typically is a bad motivator for change, particularly for people who view you as the outgroup. And so in my mind, if the goal is to move people and actually shifts hearts and minds, we need to make sure that we're being mindful of like how we're coming across, right? If we want to claim moral superiority, well, then we can't be doing things that make us look morally more questionable. If we think that scorching or going scorched earth and dunking leads to progress, we should probably stop kidding ourselves. It probably doesn't. And I think one of the things that I think is Steven's strength specifically is his ability to kind of be that token liberal in conservative spaces. I think he's been effective at being like that one liberal where they go, this guy's pretty reasonable, which essentially introduces a fundamental binary paradigm shift for a lot of people listening. And I think that that's really important to do. And my suspicion is that this type of joke, while I don't really care about edgy jokes in and of themselves, my suspicion is that essentially this joke was more offensive than it was funny, and you lost a whole bunch of social capital with people that I think you could be more effective if you maintain that social capital with. I have a feeling that my criticisms of Soypill and Steven will be somewhat different. So right now I'm angling them more at Steven, but I'm sure as we talk, there'll be stuff that is more directed at Soypill. So yeah.
Oh, we'll get to Soypill in a second. Soypill, speaking of the devil, go ahead.
Yeah, so I thought Destiny's joke was pretty funny, but somehow the right wing was able to capitalize this and shift the conversation from horrible policy by Ted Cruz and the right wing got a bunch of people killed to, oh, some guy was mean. So we're letting the right wing drive this outrage machine. They don't care. Marjorie Taylor Greene can call us all files. She doesn't get repercussions. The only reason we're allowed to do it now is because they're blocking the Epstein file release. But vibes do matter, and look at the vibe conversation. Like, Kamala didn't lose because she was too mean. She lost because she didn't go on these podcasts where she could be more authentic. Joe Rogan, Theo Von, Nelk Boys, and they tell Holocaust jokes, like all sorts of wild. Like, it's this idea that, oh, well, you're not authentic enough, but also you have to be prim and proper and perfect, because if you don't, like, you're not cool. I'm not arguing for there to be no policing. We can call it illegal things like calls to violence, sex crimes, but why waste our time complaining about optics to some arbitrary amount of voters who care about optics over policy? I'm willing to change my mind. I don't know, Kyla, you might have this. If you can show me some data that says, oh, voters left the Democrats because of crass humor and meanness, but I've heard far more people say they leave the left because they're policing too much and telling white men to sit down and be quiet. So I say, let the white boys have their summer. Stop wasting energy clutching your pearls at nothing. Save it for educating people on policy that actually matters. We tried to go high. When they go low, we lost 2 elections doing it. They're going to find outrage regardless. It's a waste of time.
And with that, let's open the floor. Go ahead, gang.
Yeah, so actually, let's go ahead and you tell me, number one, which part is funny. I'll tell you which part is funny to me, and then also tell me where we're talking about Ted Cruz's policy, because that's part of your rebuttal, is that there's this 3,000 IQ appeal to hypocrisy understanding baked into the tweet. So let's see if we can find that through some literary analysis. So I heard God killed those kids, okay, because they were using NordVPN. I'm not done yet. Oh, you think that's funny?
No, do you want me to tell you why I think the joke is funny?
Welcome back. How's it going out there?
In a second. So they were using NordVPN promo code Destiny. Hold on, real quick.
Let them go.
I just want to explain the promo code. As much as I hated this fucking joke and it pissed me off, promo code VPN was hysterical. Like,
yeah, that's the part I thought was funny.
That's the funniest part of the joke, right?
Okay.
All right. Now, to get around the Texas ban, gross. The girls who got killed were 8 years old to 13 years old. Okay. Now, where is the appeal to hypocrisy amongst conservatives, and where's the explanation of, like, Republicans canceling funding for ARP for doing the siren in this area?
Well, so attacking two different arguments in the same breath. One of them, you're saying that somehow edgy jokes must also be calling out hypocrisy. I don't think that's necessary. I just
No,
think
that's the
being
being
authentic.
position that DGG is doing 100%.
Well, I'm not DGG. If you want to talk to DGG, talk to them. I'm talking
Well, you just
to
did.
the Well, no, I'm saying that edgy jokes are fine, and we should also be calling out hypocrisy from the Republicans. You don't need to do these things in the same breath. But second of all, if anything, if I'm not mistaken, did Destiny not go on Piers Morgan and then defend attack the hypocrisy to like a whole crowd of millions of people? Like, that is a conversation starter, as much as you might not like it.
So Steven, that's an important question. Did you think that you were going to become is this an avant-garde marketing strategy? Did you think you were going to get an invite from Piers Morgan? You're like, I'm going to tweet out about dead kids jerking off to porn, and this is 100% going to result in people inviting me onto their shows?
Possibly. I would just like to clarify one part of the joke, though. You said that it was gross that they were underage and it was a porn joke. Well, that was why God was punishing them. If they were adults that were using NordVPN to watch porn, then God wouldn't punish them. So it wouldn't make any sense, would it, Connor?
No, God would still punish
Number
them
one.
because
Can I just
Number two. Wait, real quick. To answer the
Yeah.
question, because did I know I could find it? I don't know. Maybe not. Generally at this point, when it comes to edgy humor conservatives, I don't necessarily make these jokes with like this some huge grand master plan in mind. I just think liberals need to be way less soy about making fun of conservatives for retarded. They've like moved the window of acceptable behavior so unbelievably far in one direction that at this point I refuse to be policed by actual subhuman degenerate filth about what we can or can't joke about when they make the most unhinged degenerate jokes ever. And I have seen absolutely zero evidence whatsoever that this go low, go high, whatever bullshit has ever worked ever for liberals. It seems like all of the most popular moments have usually been when they're kind of roasting the other side a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. And it feels like liberals are the ones that have the most negative reaction to it. So
Is that why Beto O'Rourke won in Texas? Was because he was being so hardcore when he said that I'm going to take away your AR-15s? Was he giga chatting in that moment? Was that a popular take that he had?
I don't know, but the most popular take I remember Beto O'Rourke having about weapons was when he said something about like your AR-15s. There's a big deal.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So obviously you can be giga chat about good things and you can be giga chat about bad things, and you can get punished for being giga chat about bad things and rewarded for being giga chat about good things, right? This stands to reason.
I don't know, that wasn't really a joke he was making though. He was just saying a swear word now.
Yeah, but you made correct me if I'm wrong, but you made the argument that the time that Democrats have most succeeded is when they haven't been soy, when they haven't been milquetoast, and they've stand on business. Well, I feel like
saying that I don't know if they've ever gotten credit. I don't think they've ever gotten credit ever for being like kind and nice to conservative stuff. I just don't know where this is
I don't
happening.
think they're asking you to be kind or nice. I think you could have
No, not about me. I'm just saying that in general in general on the Democrat side, this like call to being kind and compassionate and empathetic and understanding. I just don't know if like Democrats have ever gotten credit ever on that.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody calls you pussies. Yes.
Yeah, I want to give Kyla a chance to get in. She was trying to get in earlier. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I just want to make sure to reframe this because even Sophil's opening made it seem like this is about edgy jokes, which is understandable because I think for Wick it's about edgy jokes. I'm not totally sure. I just want to be very clear. I don't give a fuck about edgy jokes. I don't give a single rip. You make as many edgy jokes as you want to. I don't give a fuck about any of this shit. What I care about here fundamentally is our predisposition and how we are willing to talk to the opposing side. And I think that that is something that is decaying, not just amongst leftists, which had never existed, but I'm seeing it decay within liberals. And I think that that is harmful to our cause, right? So in the case of like Steven's edgy joke, okay, well, yeah, unfortunately, it was way more offensive than it was funny. It was a little funny, it was a lot offensive, and it was made more offensive by the timing. So it flopped to even the point that the left didn't like it, right? But again, I don't really care. I'm not interested in just policing people's edgy joke. What I'm interested in is thinking about how we talk to and engage with one another. For example, Soypill, the way that you talk to Tally on that panel, I think is part of the problem. I don't think that this is how you are ontologically all the time, but I think this idea where we talk to people of opposite ideas, we go as aggressive as possible, and we try to tear down not just like who they are, but their humanity. I mean, some of the statements that I quoted from you saying, I think were like pretty shitty, right? It's not just about you're being a little bit mean. It's this entire orientation which says if we want democracy to work, we have to be able to talk to the other side. And while I'll be the first to say that I think the right is full of crazy people and assholes, they're crazy people and assholes that we have to be able to talk to and convince to our side. And I'm not seeing that like the smug nastiness or scorched earth policy that I would criticize Stephen of with, say, like maybe a Tectone or an Asmongold is going to be effective for polling particularly moderates and undecided towards our position.
Wait, real quick, just as a real quick thing on that, isn't that exactly what Trump did with the entire tech bro movement, though? Like, didn't he pull in a bunch of people, like record high Hispanic voters, record high tech bro people, Elon Musk, like with the most divisive and vitriolic and toxic rhetoric ever? Didn't he pull in a ton of
Yeah,
random?
sure, but people are stupid. Hold on. I want to back up there.
Hold on. Let Kyla finish, please. Let Kyla finish.
The issue is you would have to submit to me evidence that it was him being a f***ing asshole versus Kamala A getting switched last minute so they didn't even know who they were voting for, and B, on top of that, her entire mantra was essentially let's keep things the same when people desperately wanted change. So maybe it was
Kyla, the
being
point isn't
based-
that it's attracting voters necessarily. It's the point is that it's clearly not alienating all these moderates, that they're still voting for him in these record high numbers. Like, this
Well,
is
yeah,
just
but-
some
but hold-
poison that's going to destroy the Democratic Party and their chances of winning.
Yeah, but Tally is the person that's winnable. I watched the Tallybots Lib and
Tally-
Bully session.
Tally
and
is
so
stupid, and I don't
Okay,
care
that doesn't
if
matter.
if
By the
being
way-
nice to her is going to
Okay,
win her over. We should
soy
be educating
pill.
her on policy. That's a
Soy
completely
pill.
different conversation.
Soy pill. Regardless of whether or not you question Tally's individual intelligence, democracy is about appealing to stupid people.
Right, and there's
I
a
don't know
big
if you knew
difference.
that.
Hold on,
So hold on.
just to be
No,
clear- no, because you don't know, because you don't know, no, because you don't know my position.
Hey, let Counterpoints finish his
All right,
point. Then you
let
can
him strawman me for 5 minutes, and then I can give my real position.
No. I'll take about 1 minute. And on top of that, I'll be very precise with my language, which doesn't have anything about your character involved in it, okay? What's funny is Tally is in a red state, but she's a blue person. She did not think that her vote really mattered, and what she wanted was to do a protest vote, effectively saying the Democrats are not catering to me as a part of the base, and I am your natural supporter. And your guys' reaction to that so far hasn't been, damn, we lost kind of like a progressive, liberal, Jewish girl. What are we doing that's so off-putting? Your entire perspective has been struggle sessioning her and calling her a f***ing idiot. Which, by the way,
Well, hold
other
on.
moderates are going to see,
I
and
called
they're
her a
going to be like, well,
retard, to
fuck
be
you
clear.
too.
I called her a retard, to be clear. And second of all, I'm not saying that we shouldn't
Cool.
be advocating for educating people on what policy affects them and how they should be
Just
voting
be clear,
differently.
Tally's in
But
a
clearly,
blue state.
if this person is so adverse to learning about the consequences of policy that whoever was mean to her last, or whatever kind of perception she has of which party is nicer or less adverse, like that's what she votes on, why would I waste time on this person
so
who's
hold
hold
on,
on,
no,
let
no,
me
no.
finish. I let you finish your stupid thing. No, so when she is on a platform and the topic is, hey Tolly, what do Democrats need to do? That's when I'm going to come at you. Like, my channel is about reaching out to Trump supporters, which is a very different thing. I understand the point of compassion, the point of letting them speak, and understanding why they voted so that we can change them. But when these pundits are out here saying the dumbest shit ever, displaying their lack of intelligence, I'm going to come up and I'm going to be mean to them, because that's my authentic feeling, is that they're rich. They need to shut the fuck up. That's a very different conversation than trying to convince a swath of people to come over. And these things can be done in parallel.
Okay, so I want to acknowledge what Wick said, which is effectively that she was in an overwhelming blue state,
Yeah.
so she didn't think that her vote was going to matter, so it was the opposite of what I said, but the points still stand. Oh, all right, so here's my frustration with this, okay? So I get exactly what you said, and on top of that, plurality of tactics, all right? So if Steven wants to be edgy, you want to have debates, and then you want to be nice to some people but mean to some people, I totally understand a plurality of tactics, okay? But what I'm saying is there's something so fundamentally obvious that should be acknowledged by every single Democrat and isn't, which is effectively on October 7th, 2023, you had tons of progressives, not just leftists, saying, well, you know, Palestinians live in an open-air prison, so what was Hamas supposed to do? While there's people getting raped and murdered on Twitter, and then a bunch of Jews go, oh, my progressive coalition, my multi-ethnic, multi-religious coalition actually views me as subhuman and laughs when my people get murdered. What the f? And they got
well,
so
I think so.
turned
Real
off,
quick,
they
I think that
moved
the
away from
issue,
the Democrats.
the issue here isn't about edgy jokes. The issue is that legitimately a lot of people on the left supported Hamas terrorist attacking Israel. I think that was the issue.
Well, no, that's why I brought it up in my intro.
Well, yeah, but, but this isn't an issue.
No calls to violence.
Well, but
that's like
this isn't an issue of like edgy humor. This is an issue of like really incompatible policy positions. I think. I think the issue when it comes to this like weird like joke or rhetoric policing is you've got like I don't know enough about Talia, but was that her name? Talia? Tali?
Tali.
Tali. Okay.
Tali.
So I'm not saying she's an extremist or whatever, just because I just don't know her positions. But it feels like when talking about her, it's the equivalent of like soy pilled, or the soy pill over here is like somebody who speeds occasionally in his car, and Tali is like kind of sort of wanting to support the mob. And then, you know, we've got the soy pill speeding in his car, and we're like, well, she's just not going to side with you if you're a criminal. And it's like, okay, I just don't think speeding is that big of a deal. It's not really about the speeding. It's the fact that how are you aligned with the mob and complaining about one side speeding? That just doesn't make any sense to me. That's soy as not in the soy pill way, but like in an actual like.
Okay,
So
hold
like,
on, hold on.
so
Stop,
when we,
stop, stop. Let's ask. We have to stop framing this as an edgy joke issue. Maybe that's Connor's issue. I don't know. And this isn't even a moral issue to me, to be super frank. What I'm talking about is effectiveness. I do not think that super divisiveness is what is effective. I don't think it's what's been effective for Trump at all in any way, because he lost in 2016 despite getting smeared aggressively by the Democrats. He still won, had a weak presidency, and then Joe Biden won because everyone was sick of how divisive he was. And then he won again, but again, in large
I think
part,
Biden won because of COVID. I think COVID the whole world up and everybody's mad, but it's like Trump literally tried to steal the presidency and like didn't lose as bad as anywhere as he should have, and then he won again. And Trump is like probably the most divisive president or person period that I've seen in, I don't know, my lifetime. So it just seems like the divisiveness is not a thing that scares people away from your movement. I just don't know where that idea comes from, because especially if you look at the big group of people that vote for him, white people, like what's the reason they cite the most for wanting to be with Trump? It's like wokeness, which seems to play right into divisive and edgy jokes.
Well, actually, part of the issue is wokeness is something that you guys don't really do. Maybe Soy is leaning into it. I'm not really sure. Wokeness is generally this like PR policy of canceling and like purifying people out of our group to say that they're not good enough. That's calling everyone a racist and all these sorts of things. It's a thing that got you banned off of Twitch, right? And it's the thing that if Soy Pill went on TikTok for 1 second, it would get banned him off of because he uses edgy jokes too, right? So wokeness is incredibly divisive, and it is driving people away because people hate it. And so when I'm talking about being mean, I'm not saying don't be mean. That's never been my position. I'm clearly mean to people all the time. What I'm saying is we have to be mean effectively. And I don't think scorched earth is effective policy. In the case of your joke, it was funny, and I bet you if you gave it 2 weeks to breathe, it might have actually landed super well. Unfortunately, it didn't, because the offensive level was higher than the funniness, probably because of the immediacy of the event happening. Unfortunately, right? I'm not saying
But
don't
that
make those
that analysis can't ever be applied to anything for conservatives, though. Why do we have two
I
forms
don't
of
give a
analysis?
fuck about conservatives winning.
You just
I
said,
don't care
wait,
what they
you
win.
should care about it because you're saying you care about political effectiveness. They just won both halves of Congress. They controlled the Supreme Court, and they won the presidency even with a popular vote. So clearly what they're doing is effective. So I don't know how we can say, well, I don't care about the conservatives. I just want to be effective.
This is
And they're
what's
the most
bullshit
effective
about-
ever
this is
been.
what's bullshit about your
Calling
point.
people rats? Is that what's effective?
I think that's what literally
Well,
that's what
and
people
also,
like about him. If you
Steven,
ask
this
people what do
point
they
is
like about
bullshit.
Trump, they don't say the policy. They don't know any of Trump's policies. They don't say. They just like,
Hold
oh,
on,
yeah,
hold on.
he tells it
This
like
is
it
total
is, meaning he
bullshit,
makes fun
and
of
I'm not gonna
people.
let it slide. But I'm calling bullshit right now, okay? So number one, I've had DGG in my fucking comments for the past fucking week because I've effectively had my milquetoast criticism of the fucking take or whatever. And what they've all said is like, well, look at how mean Tectone was, and look how mean and stupid Asmongold is, and look how mean and stupid Donut Operator was in reference to the Palisades fire. And so I go and check the fucking tweets, and they go, "F you, Biden." So where's the direct analog to this specific behavior where you're making fun of fucking dead people?
Where, first of all, it wasn't just "F you, Biden." One was a "F you" to a request for FEMA funds, I think. Another one was blaming Biden and calling him old and decrepit for not, for he didn't go to, it was either Texas or California or something. Another one was like making fun of
Wait, so
LGBT
is that
people and DEI.
equivalent?
Is it the exact equivalent? No, but it's like
equivalent to mocking
insanely
the dead?
tasteless. What is the?
Is that equivalent to mocking the dead?
So
I don't give a fuck
okay,
about
well,
mocking
okay,
the
wait,
dead.
wait,
I'll make
okay,
fun of the
how about
dead
an
right now.
equivalent, an
I'm talking
equivalent
about
to
other
an
people who
equivalent
care
to
about that shit.
an
One
equivalent
at a
to
time,
mocking the dead. An equivalent to mocking the dead would be all of the Democrats, or not the Democrats. It would be Tim Pool and others who are making fun of the one dude on the street in New York that got stabbed to death in front of his girlfriend. Who are like, this is exactly the kind of thing that these guys vote for. Or the go-to example is
to
the.
celebrate it when they're all burning.
Hold on. This
Yeah,
isn't
hold
about
on,
being
soy
equivocal.
pill,
This isn't about being
I'm gonna
equivocal.
challenge
This
you. Hold
isn't
on,
about
this is
being
bullshit.
equivocal.
This is bullshit.
No,
I'm not
we
gonna let it
have to
slide.
have a higher standard. We already hold ourselves to a higher standard than Republicans. They have no morals. Have you not read Lauren Southern's book? You have people unironically taking money to peddle false information. It's only the right that has done bad things.
Wait, but is
the
it
issue
is it
which
moral standards or is it political effectiveness? Which one is it then? Those are two different things.
hold on.
Well,
and
you're
before we move
saying
on,
that we
I
should
want
do
to
whatever
issue
the
a
Republicans
challenge.
do because they're already doing bad stuff. And I am saying, I don't know if these are the standards that we want to hold ourselves to. For example, if it is, why don't you just spread a bunch of misinfo and start paying for bot farms?
This,
That would
no,
be
no,
way
the
more
question is the question is whether we want political effectiveness or moral standards. I think there's a different morality about making fun of people
probably
versus
have
like lying about stuff. I think I would argue that these are two different things. But the question is just: are we talking about political effectiveness, or are we talking about like having some go high when they go low road moral standard
Hold on.
thing?
No, I want to make one point, and I want to challenge the audience, okay? Because what I'm hearing is turnabout is fair play. And so what I'm looking about is turnabout. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So if you want to come up with other egregious behaviors that the right wing is engaged in, I'm going to agree with you. I endlessly bitch about the $9 billion rescission package that's projected to kill 14 million people. Trust me, I care way more about that than I care about Steven's fucked up joke, okay? However,
moral
that
standards
being
are
said,
part of
if you're
political
going to say, I'm not
effectiveness.
done yet, Erudite,
I'm
thank
sorry,
you.
you're
I'm
yapping.
not done yet,
The
Erudite,
is falling
thank
apart
you.
and
I'm not done yet,
destroying
Kyla, thank
MAGA?
you.
Okay,
I'm not done yet,
let
Kyla, thank you.
counterpoints finish.
I'm not
Let
done yet.
counterpoints finish.
Thank you.
Land your
All
plane.
right, thank
first.
you.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I challenge you, send it to my DMs, send it to my email, show me where these alt media pundits have been shitting on the dead people in the Palisades fires. Send it to me, please.
Kyla, now it's your turn. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I shouldn't go aggro on Connor. He's my debate partner. So the issue for me is that moral standards can be part of a political effectiveness, particularly if they're your espoused moral standards, right? The left typically has stood on some level of moral standards. We think that we're better. We're not trying to steal elections. We're not trying to spread misinformation. We're not trying to take away people's rights. That's the standards that we stand upon, which is why it would be really ineffective advocacy if we say all these things and then there's evidence that we're doing the opposite. This is why MAGA is in an absolute blowout right now, because one of the standards that they cared about was like truth and justice, particularly around the Epstein files, and Trump is completely caving to that. And it is causing a massive Republican fallout. There is massive schism going on as a result of them not standing up to some of their standards. Now, I agree that the Republican standards of being a pundit is not the standards that I want the left to have, but that's because I think the left is right. I think reality leans left, and there are certain standards that I don't want to fall to. And one of the standards, for example, here is one that I actually don't think Republicans fail very hard, which is how we talk to people who we disagree with. Typically, when I go into Republican spaces, they're going to say a bunch of stupid information and they're going to spread misinfo, and at worst, they'll be bad faith. However, if I go into leftist spaces, as you personally know, Stephen, as Soypill, I literally just go on TikTok once and debate people, and I'm sure you'll experience it. The leftists are fucking deranged. They're super nasty. They try to destroy your career, and they morally condemn you along lines and values that you hold, like not being a racist. And so we keep losing in these ways because, in part, we allowed the leftists to set the tone of what the left looks like, which we should have never agreed to at all. But in converse, no, you don't get to interrupt me. No, 1 second, 1 second. But in converse, yeah, it's a two-parted argument. I'm sorry, Soypill, if that's hard for you to keep up on. Okay.
I can do one at a time.
The second part is how we engage with those who are opposite. Some of the most, I will just say this, at the TPUSA event, every single conservative that came up was super excited to see Destiny. They're like, he's so good. He's so smart. But man, I wish we wouldn't make fun of dead kids. And all through the canvassing events, do you know how many people came up to me who were conservatives who were polled because of your red pill arc, where to this day, Myron Gaines respects you because even though you disagreed with him the entire time, and even though you were harsh on it, you were not nasty and you didn't go scorched earth, or you didn't do this like smug condescending that like leftists and I think Soypill think is based. That was effective. It just was effective. And I think that there is mounds of evidence to support that.
Okay, I'm still here. I'm just turning off my camera.
Let's go Soypill and Soypill, and then
two things. One, and on one side of your mouth, you're saying, hey, the left is losing because we're policing and we're woke and we're calling people racist and we have these standards and it's driving people away, which is what is happening when people are complaining about Destiny's joke. Oh, you can't do that. That's crossing a line. And this is exactly what I'm talking about in the beginning when I said there's an authenticity problem where people look at like a Dean Withers and a Harry Sisson, and you just saw him maybe on the Adam Friedland show. He wouldn't say retarded because he's like, I can't do that. That's my democratic, handlers won't let me say the nasty words. And that's why no one fucking likes them, because they're lame and manufactured. Meanwhile, you've got all these people that Trump, went on their podcast and he appeared authentic too. And that's the reason why people say they like Trump, is the being authentic and saying what you feel. And you can say, oh, I don't want to go down to that standard. But in the same breath, you're saying, well, we shouldn't steal elections. We shouldn't spread misinfo. Obviously. But that is not what is happening right now. What's happening is people are policing jokes because, oh, they're too edgy and you're too mean. And when you say there's a way, hold on. No, hold on. I'm sorry. I thought we were in interrupting, Kyla. I thought it was going to interrupt time. Well,
I don't know how many times I have to tell you it's not about edgy jokes. And if you keep saying that,
interrupt me before I can finish my sentence.
If you keep strawmanning me, I'm going to interrupt you to correct your perception of my argument because you have to talk to me.
I know
and
you
stop
think
saying
I'm
jokes.
you.
And stop saying jokes because that's not what I'm saying.
Why are we here, Kyla? Was it not because of an edgy joke?
I literally said at the very beginning that that might be Wick's issue, and that is, but that isn't my issue. And then I gave an entire argument.
I'll say it's my issue. Okay, it's counter. Okay, so you I guess shouldn't be here for the topic of the joke thing. You should be here for the how do we talk to people. And obviously, I agree with you, by the way.
I texted Wick and I said explicitly.
Let me explain this. It's all connected. These jokes is how we treat people. They feel that you're laughing, but it's true, right? If someone is making a joke, right, about something that someone deeply cares about and they get deeply offended, this will drive them to act against our interests, right? So why do this? What upside, what gain is there? So her take, Erudite's take on political effectiveness is tied into the topic as a whole. That's why she's here. Anyway,
and I'm saying that edgy jokes are
by the way
authenticity.
Weak shit to have to appeal to the name of the debate so that you can get a fucking
I'm not saying you're losing. I'm not trying to dunk on you, Kyla.
Which is so fucking annoying.
Kyla, please. We're friends. I'm not actually trying to dunk on you for that. I'm just like obviously
dehumanizing and being nasty. Then talk to me.
Okay, so I'm talking to you. So yes, the dehumanizing, nasty, edgy jokes are part of an authenticity that you can see in places that appeal to young voters that are swinging away from the uptight policing Democrats that you are calling a problem, and I agree is a problem. The over-policing, the wokeness, the left stuff. And just to be clear, I don't think that just dunking and saying, oh, you're racist, you're stupid, is like, oh, it's based, we should always do that. The reason I did that to Tali is not because I think that's how you should talk to all Trump supporters. It's when they speak on an authority where they're saying, well, we know what we should do. It's very different from understanding how you can win people over. And this idea that like, well, I have to be infinitely curious about why Tali, this fucking moron, decided to vote for Trump despite being gay, being Jewish, and having all of these things on her. But she doesn't have to be at all curious about why I might call her out about that, why she should vote for a Democrat is insane. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. And we should be spending it educating people like that on policy and how it's going to affect them, because that's the only way you're actually going to have political effectiveness, not policing jokes. I think it's a waste of time.
Okay.
Sure. So the first thing that you pointed to was a dialectic, right? You said on one side of your mouth, you're saying that we should stop like canceling people out. And on the other side, you're now essentially policing me for how mean I'm being. I'm talking about a dialectic here. I'm talking about the intolerance of tolerance, right? In the case of purity woke scolding, I think it's bad because I think it derails from the actual ideas. I think it typically targets people that it shouldn't be targeting because it's endlessly looking for new targets. And I think it kicks out people that we align with fundamentally. I am not sitting here and saying you're not left or you're ontologically evil for these things. I'm saying you're ineffective and it's betraying our own moral standards that I think we have erected and I think we should stand to, which is that we want to engage with each other and we want to be able to talk to the opposing side. I think
these things aren't mutually exclusive. That's what I'm saying. And also, can you please, like, because I don't have data on this, and this isn't me like calling you out, could you show me where there's this like swath of voters that are turned off by this and didn't vote because of it, versus, which I think there's probably more data for, who is saying, well, I'm looking for an authentic Democratic Party, which I think edgy jokes like this, as much as you might say, hey, they're ineffective, I think they're much more effective.
Never said edgy jokes are ineffective. Never said edgy jokes are ineffective.
Okay, well, whatever way you want to.
If you want to talk, no. Well, if you want to talk to me, just ask me my opinion, right? What I would say is,
when I repeat this, so I don't say it wrong.
Well, it's not just don't say it wrong; it's understand my position. That's what I'm asking you to do.
You say political effectiveness. This joke itself was offensive. What about it was not politically effective? And then I will use that language every time I reference it. I'm not trying to strawman you. I'm literally just trying to repeat what you said. Sorry.
I'll tell you, talking about prepubescent kids jerking off, that's probably the least politically effective aspect of the joke.
Wouldn't it be schlicking in this case because they're mostly girls?
So to be clear, there's
That.
not going to be political data that you're asking for. In large part, I think Blue Rose openly, actually, David Shore talked to me about this, and I asked him why he didn't include like wokeness as a reason why people voted, and he was like, well, our list of 40 things was just kind of arbitrary fundamentally, and he agreed probably it actually should have been included. It would have been interested to know. So I don't have this data to give you, or people like, well, man, Destiny was really mean this one day to me, so that's why I voted for Trump, right? What I do have is psychological theory, right, about how people work. And what we're talking about here when we're talking about changing minds is we're talking about changing fundamentals or deep things to people's worldviews. And these are really, really hard things to change, as anyone in psychology can tell you. And what I'm saying is that while edgy jokes can be useful because it code switches to young people that you're chill, that you don't give a fuck about the PC shit, and you can make a joke and roll with it, the problem is that when you're smug, condescending, and nasty all the time, what it does is it doesn't code switch to anyone. Typically, people don't like condescension at all. In fact, that's why I think on your panel, people were more mad at you than Sansal, who was saying put Republicans in gulags, which is way more extreme than anything you were saying. It's because you're being smug the whole time. So it rubs people worse. And in general, shaming people for deep intrinsic beliefs doesn't cause people to change. In fact, there's a dearth of data that there's a large amount of data that shows it causes people typically to become defensive and move more towards their original position.
Okay, so my position is not we should be shaming people in mass to change their votes. So I mean, if you
After
want
you're
to
done, we're
my
gonna give it
position, we can do that too.
Yeah. Okay. Counterpoints.
Yeah.
please.
So I actually I don't want to be exclusively in political commentary for the next 20 years. Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my camera while I talk, just because my toddler is refusing to leave the room. So, anyways, the point being that I am about political efficacy insofar as we're trying to figure out how to combine alt media and normal media. Okay, that's what we're trying to figure out how to do. We're also trying to figure out how to get mainstream politics to talk to alt media political people. Okay, and what's happening is we're talking about this fucked up joke, and I am here to police the jokes a little bit, and I'm bringing it up. And Steven's probably the most successful person here, and he's like, "Lol, wouldn't it specifically be female style of masturbation?" And I'm telling you, that's the exact kind of fucking thing. It's funny. I'm not going to say it's not funny, but that's the exact kind of thing that if I try to book with a mainstream person and I say, oh, hey, I have this guy. He's huge in alt media. He's got tens of thousands of listeners. He's got millions of post-recorded views. He wants to canvas. He wants to be active. Can we do an interview together? And then if somebody takes that clip and they blow it up, they're going to be like, isn't that the guy who talks about like prepubescent female masturbation? And they're going to say no. So you're right. I do want to police your jokes a little bit.
Yeah, but like, wait, what's the worst? What's the worst part that would make me unbookable? Do you know what it is?
Well, I would say probably your abrasive personality and sex dramas.
No, I would say it's the fact that I'm on the left. You don't have to go to abrasive personality and sex dramas. Andrew Tate was like the leading red pillar for 2 years, and the conservatives.
That's actually a half decent point.
So I mean, like, invited into the White House, by the way, and like that's not stopping any of these people from getting invited on shows. If anything, the problem you're describing, Connor, is that the left needs to be less uptight about who they invite on shows. Which, by the way, they're pivoting to. I don't know if you've heard like the Washington Post story from today, but they are realizing that like disowning people over policing for this kind of stuff is a waste of time and it's not working.
And I think the big issue is that like we keep saying like people don't like condescension, or people love condescension. They just like it when it's on their side. People absolutely do. You can see a billion people looking at Trump and everybody else being condescending as to their political adversaries. People like it. They just don't like when it's directed at them.
Your own side.
Exactly. Yes.
Your own side, but that's not effective in pulling the opposite side.
Politics isn't won by polling the opposite side. The goal shouldn't be how do I appeal to my diametrically opposed political enemies at all points in time. At some point, you have to have.
How do I appeal to moderates?
How about appealing to your own side of people that like can go out and vote? How about appealing to like your own party members that are like these are Democrats that feel demotivated as fuck and don't like to actually go out and do anything because our whole party is just living constantly in the criticism of conservatives who have never in their lives considered criticism from the left.
Stephen, part of why you're effective is because you can do both. And what I'm saying,
I'm not a politician, so there's like a double. It's careful. I'm not trying to get elected, so there's like a different type of thing that I'm going for. I'm just saying that like people on the right
rally behind politicians, and that's going to get you're very effective at getting people politically active. What I'm saying here is that, like, I guess to Soy Pill, right? I understand that your position is not to be mean people to get them to change their votes. Got it. My criticism to you on the Tally thing specifically is that when you're mean to Tally and when you talk about her in such a smug, condescending, and disregarding way, you're signaling to her and everyone like her that basically you look down at them as subhumans. None of those people.
Hold on. I
would
never
want
used the
to live-
word subhuman, but I do look down on them, and I'm going to be very explicit and public about that. And I think
Cool.
that anger is the same thing that a lot of people who are disaffected on the left, who feel like they don't have people who will go out and say what people like, you know, the same people that say, oh, Trump says it like it is. There's a swath of leftists that are like, why are these Democrats being so nice to these people that are killing my family, who are stripping their rights away? And I'm like, hey, dipshit, you should not be the authority here. That's very different from reaching out to specific voters. And if people clip that, whatever. But we tried being perfect for 2 elections, and they're gonna clip everything from the perfect party of like the most. Wait, hold on. These smug liberals who are going high get clipped for the
We've never gone
nothing
high.
things.
No, stop.
Never.
We've never gone high.
We
Stop.
need to
Of
run.
course we've gone high. Of course
we
we've
weren't
gone high.
nice enough in the Clinton era. Oh, oops.
Hold on. My only question to you is the tally conversation is it effective? That's
Wait,
all
can we
I'm
real
asking.
quick? What
No,
what
it
happened in
wasn't.
this?
It
Wait,
was-
real quick for people watching.
No,
What
it's
happened in
not
the tally conversation?
No,
What?
I'm saying no. I'm saying no.
Wait,
It was not
what
effective,
happened?
Kyla.
What was
It
the tally
changed-
conversation? Can we
TLDR.
summarize it? Yeah.
Sure. I had Stardust and Short Fat Otaku or Dev on my show to talk about did Democrats and Tali. It's a Wick and Tali show. I co-host a show with her every week, and so our guests were Stardust and Dev, and the subject was, did Democrats contribute to the rise of MAGA and how? And we talked about that. Soy Pill ranted and raved in chat and started DMing me saying he wanted on, and so about an hour in, I let him on, and he started going after Tali and calling like,
So
why
let
are
me-
you
let
even
me be clear.
here?
I went after Tali.
Why are you on this show?
Tali,
etc.
Tali voted for Trump and was speaking as some sort of like, what should the Democrats be doing moving forward, when she does not give a shit about policy, which she admitted multiple times, raised her hand to say she was a vibes-based voter, like when questioned about specific things like January 6th, which she acknowledged is bad and knew all the details of before voting, still did not care. So it's like, why waste any time, one, listening to this person for advice, and two, not shaming this person out of the space for having absolutely nothing to contribute and admittedly being retarded. That's very
Hey,
different.
but you
from talking
already
to a
acknowledged.
voter.
You already. It's not that different because Tally's.
It's
much
100%
closer-
different.
It's much close. Tally is a voter, and she's basically
One voter.
normal.
I will shout out.
Tally,
any
if you
pundit
think that
she
Tally is like distinctly more stupid than the average voter, I don't know what to tell
I
you.
didn't
but
say
most
that.
voters
I said that she's a pundit, which is different from talking to
she's
someone that I'm
barely
trying
a
to
pundit. She doesn't even have.
She's
like,
in a public space, and I'm yelling at her for that, Kyla. So if I'm talking to
You've
Matt
already
Walsh, do I have to
said-
be nice to him so that I
already
can
said-
convince the Republicans? Is that
Tally's like Matt Wall.
There's some people that deserve scorched earth. The issue is you already said it's not effective. My
I
question
said
is,
that conversation was
why?
not an effective one. No.
So why are you defending it?
Because it's an actual authentic expression of my anger at someone stupid
That's
being used as a
fine.
position of authority, and I think it's fine to do that every once in a while. It's not some
I agree.
fucking
I actually
political
agree with you.
poison.
I agree, which is why I said in my opening statement, I don't expect you to be perfect in your advocacy. But if all you have is conservative fatigue and that's why you're taking it out on them, again, it's fine. But what
Cool,
I'm
then we
talking
agree,
about
'cause that's not all I
is
have.
efficacy.
Okay.
Is there, wait, I'm just curious. Wait, on the tally thing, would it be more effective to spend an hour roasting the out of her and getting a bunch of other people to laugh at her, or would it be more effective to spend an hour trying to convert her to vote differently when she probably won't? I feel like you just make fun of these people.
She definitely will vote differently, is my
She
suspicion.
said she wouldn't. She literally said, I actually don't know if I'd vote for a Democrat. After 3 different shows, your show, Live and Learn, and
Yeah,
our
at
channel,
this
she,
point,
after
I
all
don't-
3, and
yes,
you guys
because
were
you
nice to her.
said the whole
you
time.
wasted time.
Of course, she's literally gone on a circus chase of every liberal getting in
They
their
were
lips
nice.
on
You were
stupid.
nice.
Yes. Oh,
Did it work?
I was nice.
Did you
You're
change
right.
her?
I was nice.
Did it work?
Yeah, when 4 out of 5 people are bullying the fuck out of you and one person is nice, why would you be like, oh yeah, it turns out actually
Wait,
everybody in this
actually,
tribe is great. So I
let
felt
me clear,
fuck
it's
this. I've
5
been
out
waiting
of
for 10
6.
goddamn
5
minutes
out of
listening to you
6.
fucking rant.
5
Shut
out
the
of
fuck
6
up.
people
Shut
were
up. Shut up. Shut up. I'm talking. I'm talking. I don't want to hear.
My whole point
wanna listen.
is there are
So
other
anyway-
people
Oh,
like
no, you're
Ellie.
right. Still talking. White man, sit down. Listen. Jesus Christ. So, anyways, the whole point of this is that you were like, oh, Democrats were so nice over the past 10 years. Where the was that? What the fuck are you talking about? The whole goddamn reaction of the right wing has been to snide, smug, far left dickbags running media for a decade, running social media for a decade. That's why Elon bought Twitter. Not just that, but in 2016, I wasn't going to vote for Trump, but I wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton either, because jihadist terrorist attacks were happening every other goddamn month, and the Democrats were talking about bringing in 250,000 new refugees. Not
Connor,
just
you're
that, but
conflating two
in
things here.
2020, no, I'm not done yet. Thank you. I listened to you for 5 minutes. You can listen to me for 3.5. So the other thing is, in 2020, we had the goddamn Summer of Love, where basically, like, not only did we have the COVID lockdown bullshit, but we also have BLM going on and people saying fiery but mostly peaceful protests. Do you know how oftentimes I see that bull where Democrats, regardless of all the stuff of Trump, again, I can list all the up parts of Trump better than you can. Summer of Love, Chaz Chop, sweeping for jihadists, sweeping for BLM is still brought up, and that's not good behavior.
Yeah, none of that is anything we're talking about regarding mean comments. If you want to talk
Yes,
smug
it is.
pearl
You
clutching,
said
that's
that you best behavior for a decade and it didn't work. Don't gaslight me in real time, you
why
fuck
is saying,
nuts.
why is saying fiery but most
You were on your
peaceful
best
is
behavior
mean?
for 10 years, and
Fiery-
everything I listed
wait.
was your best behavior.
Calm down.
No, I won't.
Okay.
Don't tell me that you're lying to me. Don't lie to me.
Okay. Fiery but mostly peaceful. That's Democrats being mean.
It's Democrats sweeping for the BLM riots of 2020. It's
Just
bad
to be clear,
behavior.
in the entirety of all the we have the fiery but mostly peaceful from the one CNN Chiron or whatever.
Chiron, yeah.
The Chiron, that one thing compared
hold on,
to
wait, gaslight you right back.
wait, you guys, but hold on, just to be clear, we're comparing that to the entire subhuman conservative apparatus claiming that Haitians in the United States were eating cats and dogs, and that message got repeated by the president of the United States of America on a debate, and then it was repeated by the vice president, J.D. Vance, and he said, I knew it was a lie, but it gets people talking. And now you want to hold us to some standard of, well, remember when that one CNN during the BLM riots had the thing in the back? And it's like, that bullshit. Make fun of dead kids and call them. It's retarded. The standards are so insane.
The argument doesn't need to be that Dems were holy and perfect and that Republicans are bad. Republicans are way worse than the Dems have ever been. It's just annoying when you guys are being like, the Dems have always played it high. 2016, Hillary was not playing it high. It was
Can you name one
dirty.
high comment that
Okay, wait,
what was
that's
dirty?
like
She
saying-
said basket of deplorables, right? And they're still holding that over. Like that's
Just the
that's the
entire
worst thing you
campaign
can
was
point to.
smearing him.
I just
the
want to be
entire
clear.
campaign was smearing him.
Yeah, I just want to be clear.
political
It's not the
system
entire-
is smearing him.
Hold on.
All of the news.
Hold on.
The news. The
Hold on.
news. The
Be-
news.
hold on.
Am I reporting
Hold on.
accurately
Hold
or
on.
smearing? That's your problem.
Yeah,
That's
wait.
Trump's problem.
No. Yeah,
No,
what
okay.
is this? Okay, we're
This is
talking
a
about
mistake.
going
Soy
low.
Pill, you're
Is
making
this-
a mistake. Soy Pill, you're making a mistake. It's not just about what the politicians say. It's what about your side says. It's what's about your culture says. And you would have to have not lived through that time if you thought the Democrats, I'm talking about the people, I'm talking the rank and file, treated Republicans or even moderates well. A lot of people disowned their families, right, during that time because they thought they might be voting for Trump, right? They literally won't talk to their families. They literally excise people from their friend groups. It was a huge issue, and it turned off a lot of
I
fucking
don't
people.
disagree with this, but the problem is I guess we're going to keep conflating these different parts of what is being mean, right? But this whole strategy.
Is that not being mean?
Hold on. No, excising your family, by the way, is a very mature thing to do if there's crossing a line that you think they shouldn't cross. And I've done it before. And that's very different from, hey, you're a fucking idiot. No one should talk to you. You don't know how to vote, which I agree turned some people off in 2016. I know a lot of people who were turned off from the Dems by that. But when I'm talking about they go high, we go high, they go low, that is a very different strategy. That is, hey, these people are smearing and calling names and like dehumanizing, and we're not going to do that. That is what the Dems have been doing up until about like the weird comments from, or maybe like Joe Biden saying, oh, will you shut up? You know, this is what we're talking about. And then, yeah, you can talk about the populists. Obviously, they're going to be way more, edgy than the politicians. But the politicians of the right are going low every single time, and it is not hurting them.
Okay, I have a relevant point. I want to make it before anybody else gets in. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining, okay? Kyle Rittenhouse specifically. I already know that this is a perfect point about Democrats misbehaving very badly in reference to this because Steven recognizes this point. All the progressives, all the libs, and the mainstream media establishment, and the president of the United States himself ran with the narrative that a 16-year-old kid grabbed an assault rifle and committed a mass shooting against BLM protesters and killed 3 black people in Kenosha, Wisconsin. But as soon as you watch the fucking video, it's obviously not true. Now,
Connor,
Steven,
I don't disagree
hold
with
on,
you.
I'm not
Can I
done.
back you up? Wait, but I can back you up. Here, let me back you up.
Let him finish, please.
The reason why I respected Steven so much was because he was willing to pursue truth over what was convenient for his political side. I actually stopped respecting Vosh as much because he went exclusively with what was convenient to his political side. So
Wait,
if
what did
you
Biden
guys
say?
engage
What did
in that
Biden
behavior,
say?
I will lose respect for
What
you.
did Biden say? Didn't Biden say that he would respect the court's decision on the Rittenhouse case?
Yeah, he did. He also retweeted out a video calling him a white supremacist mass shooter.
So, well, hold on, wait. It was like it was implied with the way that the compilation video, but like the fact that you just said that is crazy to me.
That it
What
matters that the
percentage of
president of the United States
Republicans
calls you a white supremacist mass shooter? Obviously, it does.
I think that if you're going to obsess over a single video that was made, that he retweeted on his account, and you're going to claim that, like, oh my God, this was so horrible, and ignore the 50 trillion insane things that Donald Trump, the president of the United States, the leader of MAGA and the Republican Party, says daily, that's a standard that we're never going to win, which is why we should just make fun of dead kids and everything else, because you're never going to appeal to people like you. It'll never. You'll always be able to find. You'll always be able to find one person. You'll always be able to find one bad person on Twitter, one bad lawmaker, whatever, one bad person that says anything, and then meanwhile, Republicans are like rapid firing out the most insane things ever. You want to talk about Rittenhouse? What about George Floyd?
Okay, Steven, you've gotten lazy in your argumentation. I'm not that guy. I talk about George Floyd.
I'm not talking about you. This ain't about you, Chief. This isn't about you. This isn't about you. I don't care about you. You're never a Trumper. This isn't about you. This isn't about you. I'm sorry.
They've lost their
This isn't about you.
mind.
This isn't about you. This is about the electorate.
Yeah, it's about you.
No, it's not about me. It's about the electorate. I thought we were having a conversation about the electorate.
You.
What is it about me? I'm voting probably for them no matter what.
You're engaged in bad
honest,
behavior that I think is
conversation-
ineffective and counterproductive, and I
And what
don't
I'm
like
saying
it.
is
That's
that
why
if
I'm
you look
talking
at
to
the,
you.
I'm saying that if you look at the
conversation
overall rhetoric in this
is
country,
about the
it seems to
tallies.
be that everybody on the Republican side can be the most degenerate people they want, and they don't. It doesn't seem to be ineffective for
Giving
them.
that permission or license.
But it works.
No, it doesn't. It's destroying the fucking country.
It works for their party. It works for them to win elections.
So then why don't we just start doing this info? Why don't we just start doing this info?
Because I think misinfo is bad.
Yeah, so is like
Edgy
treating other
jokes?
people like they're subhuman. I didn't
Being condescending to somebody. Being condescending to somebody is not a morally horrible thing to do. It's just rude.
Nobody said it was.
Then why are you
Steven.
comparing
Keep
that
up.
to lying?
Because because I'm talking about efficacy.
We're not talking about
This
efficacy
info-
to forsake morality. We're the difference between being condescending or telling mean jokes is different than
morals,
lying.
I thought is that we can actually talk to the other side and engage with them and not go scorched earth all the time. It's a
preference. It's not
bipartisanship with some
immoral
of the
to-
values. Yes, they are more deplorable in every single way. I will just grant this to you every
but
single time. But
Kyla,
what I'm
how can
talking
you-
about, don't interrupt me, is Connor and Tallies, who are people who don't like the right. They think it's despicable. Maybe not Tally. Let's just say Connor, who are informed, are looking at the left's behavior and also find it deplorable. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, can't we just tweak that? We are already good at policy.
You don't
We're already good at policy.
You don't abandon those people.
I don't think he is.
Because they're not worth appealing to. You're better off energizing your own side. If somebody can sit in an area where they look at one guy and they see him rape 500 people, and then they look over there like, well, that guy, like, he made some rude comments about, some woman's bra or whatever. So I think these two things, like, I'm really undecided. You never even waste time with that person. You just try to you energize your own side, or maybe you find people who are genuinely, legitimately in the middle. But if there are people, like I said, I haven't seen the Tally stuff, but if this is somebody who's legitimately, like, undecided about both sides, this person's you don't waste your time on that person. Why would you put hours and hours trying to persuade that
the
person?
average moderate is fucking I'm telling you that the average moderate is.
Whoa,
and
why are you
most
saying
voters,
that? Clip it, and the Democrats will never win because you just said that. We're done. Why'd you say it?
Actually, I disagree. I believe that democracy works with retards. I actually think that it does. I think it's baked into the system to assume that people are fucking stupid.
No,
Okay,
I also agree.
great.
But you're saying on one side, like, Steven, I love that you can go out and be this person who reaches out to people. However, because you made this edgy joke, or because you cross a line sometimes, that's like poison to the thing. And it's like, wait, hold on. You're quoting people at events that say they like him, they're Republican, they're conservatives, and they still show up despite not liking the thing that he said. Clearly, it's
because
not
they
the
think he's funny
delineating
and entertaining, not because they would ever side with him in any political agreement ever.
If you guys agree with me, then why? Well, he's walking away now. Why is Steven right now saying, "Don't reach the retards, abandon them"? It sounds like you guys disagree with each other as well. I'm saying we have to reach the retards. Yes, the extremists will never reach. I'm not talking about like the embedded MAGAs who will never move. I'm not talking about those people.
By the way, I
that's
think
not my
Steven
argument.
just got tired.
No, so clearly, Kyla, I'm not saying don't reach out to people who are retarded because I do think most people are stupid and we do need to appeal to stupid people. What I'm saying is we are not going to waste energy policing our own side saying, hey, there's some unambiguous, like, we can't really tell you how many people this
How
is.
am
but
I
some
even
of them are.
policing our own side? I'm not trying to cancel. I'm not
You're
saying that you guys are bad, that nobody should support you. I'm saying,
Is that not policing?
I'm saying you would be more effective if we actually held
policing
to
you.
the standards that we say we care about. The right is in large part because they've forgotten to have principles. They don't have them. They don't even espouse them anymore.
They're in power right now.
Getting
What the fuck
fucked
are you
by the
talking
one
about?
principle that they held, which is around the Epstein files.
They're
It's
not
fucking
getting
them
fucked, they
over.
have the whole
When you
government.
hold
They're passing-
standards for yourself and then you fail the standards, the people
And they're about-
notice. The problem the Democrats had is multifaceted. Number one, we pretended to have moral standards that we never gave
How-
a about.
how are
like
the Republicans
kowtowing
fucked
to
right
the
now? How are they-
progressives. Number two is that the standards that we do have, which are good democratic standards, we are not always upholding to. We need to be more clear about when we're upholding to them. There are
Wait,
some
what are our
people that we
standards?
need
Our
to
standards are
skirt
don't
over,
be mean to
but I am
people?
telling you, Tectones and Asmongold's don't need scorched earth, and neither do tallies. Those are not the people.
Can
The
you
Matt
show me
Walshes go fucking
like
off.
winning
Don't
some
care.
people over by being uptight like we were for 20 years? Like,
Yeah,
I
dude.
don't see this happening.
Paul, there's
Wait,
literally
no,
people
I
in
can
my
give you
comment section who stay. I would like to interject. Thank you.
Sure, sure, sure.
So there are people who come into my comment section and they say, "Oh, I really liked Steven until X." And you know what X normally is? It's either the past week with the dead girls or it's Corey Compatore.
Yeah, and are they
The
switching
fucking
their votes?
firefighter. What's that?
Are they saying they're going to vote Trump now?
You guys claim God guided that bullet, okay? So I'm just laughing at it.
Well, and by the way, well, actually, hold on. This brings up a previous point. So you were saying that like, oh, it's just jokes. It's just jokes. And actually, that Soy Pills probably brought it up more than anybody else, saying like, oh, you're trying to police our jokes. You're trying to police our jokes. Excuse me. Correct me if I'm wrong, because this is the malice that most people are identifying. Is the fact that you and I both genuinely believe that MAGA is a quasi-fascist movement that doesn't care about the rule of law, the Republic of the United States, or its people. Correct?
Yes.
And that's why you don't care that Corey Compatore or whatever his name is wittingly or unwittingly, he's effectively supporting fascism.
Who's this person? I don't know this person.
It's the firefighter who got shot at Trump's rally.
Trump rallying Butler.
I care that a person died. I care that right now when Medicaid gets shut down, the red states are going to be hurting the most. It's a little bit like, well, you voted for this, but like I care that people are
Steven,
dying.
do you
It's like,
care that
but
Corey Compatore died?
I think you can joke about it.
Corey, do you care, or Steven, do you care that Corey died?
Well, I mean, it's bad when people die, but I'm not gonna
Do you think it's
spill any
funny?
milk over it. I mean, a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you can make a joke about it and it can be absolutely funny, 100%. Yeah.
So why can't we make a joke
What I'm
about
pointing out is that there is an underlying
Hold on,
malice
stop,
that you are denying.
Counterpoint. Why can't we make a joke about the October 7th stuff then?
Do
That's
it.
funny.
What's that? Make a joke
good
about what?
it.
The October 7th stuff, right? When Hamas came in, got all those Jews. Funny, right?
Yeah, you can.
Make jokes.
I just expect people to be pissed off about it and stop supporting you
What
politically.
was the wait? What was the God? Do you think somebody here is going to say we can't joke about Jews?
Well, no.
No,
Wait, hold on, Soy. Wait, Soy. Do
Hold
you
on.
think we can make jokes about October 7th? Are you okay with that?
I would never make a joke about a Jewish person. That's not my.
Nice work out there. Keep up the pressure. I didn't like that one either. Here's a gold for the trouble.
May the shores be round for me. Feel the pressure. Feel the pressure. When does the real fight start? What have I become?
I make jokes. I make
Bro.
Holocaust and October 7th jokes all the time. I don't give a
Oh, yeah, no, I think
Wait, yeah,
of course,
obviously.
no.
Do you think people making jokes about it on October 7th drew people to their side or pushed them away?
No.
Is there an undercurrent of malice? This is relevant. Is there an undercurrent of malice within the joke?
It was the policy. It's not the fact that people like Hassan or whoever are making jokes about October 7th. It's the fact they actually, legitimately, 100% support Hamas. That's a big difference.
No, that's why people are pissed off, because they actually think that you don't give a when conservatives die because they're the victims of their own policy.
Bullshit.
What
my God.
That's
Destiny
literally the
really thought that God smited those girls for masturbating with NordVPN? Seriously?
No, they think you just don't care about it.
You don't. You think that they think that you feel that Republicans are studying
malice. That you legitimately do not give a fuck about these kids. And I'm pretty sure I heard that you don't give a fuck about these kids. I'm pretty sure you said you don't give a fuck.
I'm just tired of the Mott and Bailey. I'm just so tired of this Mott and Bailey.
No one here is saying
yes, there is. They're doing it. You're doing it over and over again. I am saying being mean loses the middle, and then you guys go, "So you just want us to be nice and not mean jokes."
No.
Address
this argument.
The way
this
you're
argument.
being
Stop.
mean
Address
in
this.
these specific instances is alienating people to your effect. Like
Where is
detriment
the
of
not policing, by the way. This is
Republicans
Where is
are
the
mean and they won.
I am policing.
What is the
win, Stephen?
Okay,
What's more likely, Stephen? Do you think that Trump won because he was divisive and mean? Or do you think he won because he had 8 years of campaigning, funding behind him, and Kamala had 3 fucking months?
What's the campaigning that he was doing? It was being mean
in
and
the
being
eye
divisive.
of the public.
And how is he in the eye
Being
of the
in
public?
the eyes of the public.
Being mean and
What?
being divisive. That's literally
Jeb
all
Bush
he
was
did.
I don't think that a lot of people were like, yes, this is why I love him. The issue is that Kamala was
Everybody's
every
not
month.
woke. He's not woke. I love this guy.
Every single incumbent lost. Did every incumbent just lose because their alternative was just mean?
Kyle, have you been to like these Trump rallies where they're all like, God, I love how mean he is to Democrats. All these shirts are like, yeah, Trump
Yes,
that bitch.
of course. And I think the Democrat rallies where they also love how mean Dean Withers is to Republicans. Yes, partisan hacks love when you're mean to the opposing side.
Thank you.
This is
Yes,
obviously.
that's we agree. Yes.
I'm not talking about partisan hacks.
I
You
am.
stupid
I would rather- it's probably
I am
better.
talking about the middle.
The
I'm
middle
talking
is
about
not.
the middle.
If you want to spend your time trying to convince those people who are undecided somehow still, then you can do that. It's just not a very efficient use of time. If you want to talk from some moral perspective, that's fine, but it's not effective.
2020. Who won in 2020? I can't remember. Who was it?
Biden did.
Wasn't Trump mean like the whole time?
Yeah.
Oh, so why didn't he win?
Because COVID literally destroyed his entire attempt.
Right. So do you guys? Well, Soypill, you actually implied that the reason that he won this year in 2024.
No, I'm saying
Trump
being
is because
mean
he was
doesn't
mean.
lose you
That the
election.
moderate didn't care so much.
No,
We don't-
that is not the
you
reason
have no
people win.
evidence
It's
for that
not the
claim.
reason people
You have
lose.
no evidence for that claim.
What do you mean? He won.
He won.
My point is this is not a thing that's driving away so many people that it loses you elections. That's what I'm
You
saying.
have
Not
no
that it is
idea.
the reason people win.
You have no idea if that's even true. You literally
He won.
said
He
that
was
Trump
mean and
won
he
because
won.
he
That
was
is
being
my
mean.
argument.
He was divisive
Mean
and
and
getting.
he won.
Trump-
My argument is
he
that it
just
did not
said it.
make him lose.
Steven just said it. You don't get to run away from this. You guys literally said that him being mean and divisive got eyes on him, which was free campaign money, which is what got him to win, and that the moderate didn't mind it.
Okay,
right?
just to be
And then
clear,
they enjoyed
there's
them being
multiple
mean to the
things
wokes.
happening, and it is a
So who-
very popular thing among his base. That does not mean it is the reason he won, and I'm not saying that. I don't think Steven's saying it either.
Like, here's a really simple question. Let's say that Trump became
Here's
more.
what I'm
Wait,
asking you.
if Trump became
Don't
more inclusive with his
Bailey.
rhetoric, if Trump
That's
became
not a
more,
Martin
wait,
Bailey.
if
You're
Trump
just
became
There's a Martin Bailey. There's a Martin Bailey.
Hold on. Let
if
Destiny go.
Trump
Let
became
Destiny
more
go.
inclusive with his rhetoric, would he do better or worse?
I think hard to say. I think potentially better, probably better actually. I think the moderates would hate him a lot less. Doesn't he have like one of the lowest
He'd win
ratings
by
of
more.
like?
He'd win by
like-
more if he did that.
He
If
does.
wasn't
people don't
such
like
He has
fucking
low ratings, but among
divisive
Republicans,
bitch,
he has a
he would
massively
win by
high
more.
rating. He has a massively high
Yeah,
rating.
among
his own-
Republicans,
Because
but
he's
I'm
a
interested-
hardcore
again,
fucking right
I'm
winger.
interested in the moderates, in like the 30%, right? So yeah, of course the Republicans like him because he's getting sick dunks on the left, and I think that that's. I think he would have way more popularity if he was less divisive and nasty.
And not just that, there's clear evidence for this.
Republican in the
Like,
primary, do you
no,
think he
hold
could
on,
have done well?
I was talking. Thank you. Appreciate you. Love you. Listen to you for 10 minutes. So we have all the right-wing centrists or whatever, which, by the way, Steven, you said no centrist exists. It was me that you were describing that doesn't exist. But we have Konstantin Kisin. We got his schlubby glasses person. We have Lex Friedman. We have Joe Rogan. We have all these people
Richard
who were
Hanania.
left 5 years ago, including Andrew Schultz and everybody on his podcast. And what did they do? They used Trump as a Rorschach test. They read in what they wanted to see because the left fucking pissed them off while not paying attention to what Trump said at all, and then they voted right in the last election.
Why did the
So
left
pretending
piss
that
them off and not the right?
unwinnable,
Why
or
did you
that
guys
it
don't ever
doesn't
answer
matter
questions? You just
is
see that,
bullshit.
yes, I understand your yap.
Bullshit.
Why did the left piss them
Bullshit.
off and not the right?
What?
Why did the left piss them off, but the right didn't? When the right is so aggressive on all of these
Because
issues.
they're white men who
Because
want to
it's
tell
vi-
edgy jokes.
It's vibe.
about
It's all
minorities,
vibe.
but
They
not
hate
about dead
left-
kids.
They
left-
want to
left-
tell edgy
They
jokes.
want to tell edgy
That's my
jokes
point.
about minorities, not
Oh, it's
dead
almost like
kids.
nobody's arguing about edgy jokes. So I feel congrats.
First of all, Connor
You've
clearly
arrived
is, and he
an
just
hour in,
agreed-
but you
and
finally
he just
got
agreed
here.
with us that clearly
I've
this
accepted Soyfel's
huge
argument. I'm
people-
trying to police his jokes.
And
Okay,
Connor
Counterpoints
just
is in
admitted-
charge while I
hold on,
have to
wait,
use the
oh God.
restroom. So just
Yeah,
Counter-
Connor just admitted that these people who have these million like fucking people audiences who Kamala did not go on, and that is a big criticism of what she should have done, are people that want to be edgy, that want to be authentic, that don't want to be policed, and these people are now like young voters are swinging towards Trump. So somehow, how this is not a way that we should go. We should not be more like these podcast hosts who are like appealing to the everyman, the more authentic people. We shouldn't do that.
No,
Are you asking me
unironically,
or
what I'm
Connor?
saying is this
asking Connor,
specific
'cause he just
joke,
said that.
kind of like Kyla said, was more offensive than it was funny. So it was a bad joke. And by the way, actually, Steven made content about this where he's like, isn't Tectone the edgy guy? Isn't Asmongold the edgy guy? Don't they love shitting on Mexicans getting deported? Don't they love all this? Yeah, they do. They're fucking hypocrites. But just because they're hypocrites and they're stupid doesn't mean that you don't have to appeal to them.
But it does, because I can look at how do they grow their audiences? Who's the most popular political streamer in the world right now? It's Asmongold. Where are all of these like
People do
incredibly
you think you gained by asking or making fun of like dead kids? How many people do you think you gained when you asked if a fucking father of a 12-year-old if his daughter had sex? How many people followed you
how
off
many
of that
people
tweet?
did Asmongold gain asking about dressing up as a Pokemon trainer to go to catch illegal immigrants, or laughing about Alligator Alcatraz, or like
people hate Mexicans. Most people don't hate kids.
Okay, so then the issue has nothing to do with, I guess, edgy jokes, whatever. It's just targeting it better, I guess.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, that would be my argument, is that edgy jokes are totally fine. In the case of these edgy jokes, your timing made them more offensive than they were funny. So
Wait, then your issue is edgy jokes. You can't say I would prefer an
My
edgy
issue
joke
is
at a
not
later
edgy
point in time. That makes it not an
My
edgy
issue
joke
is-
anymore. That's the whole point.
nope.
Yes.
No, I think
Yeah,
making fun
timing
of
is
dead
like-
kids is always an edgy joke.
Okay, so then then the time thing you just said was completely irrelevant. You just don't ever want people to make fun of dead kids.
Nope. I literally didn't say that. Do you want me to restate it?
Yes,
just
restate
said it was too close to the event. Essentially, that's kind of what
So-
you're going for.
It made it probably more offensive to people. In the case of this edgy joke that he made, because it was so close to the event and it was quote tweeting people actively looking for the kids, people found it more offensive than they found it funny. Which is why it didn't hit hard.
I'll
I
go
don't
ahead and stand
personally
on
care either
business
way.
and say that
I
you
do
shouldn't.
think it's ineffective in this case.
I'll go,
I don't give.
I'll go
a
ahead and
fuck
stand
what
on
the edgy
business that as a 40-year-old man, you shouldn't talk about 12-year-olds jerking off. That's my perspective.
I think
Right,
that
thanks.
as
So
a
is the issue
36-year-old
edgy-
man,
Yes,
you probably shouldn't
Shouldn't
talk
edgy,
about
not edgy
Asians
enough,
eating
like-
fucking dogs. You shouldn't talk about deporting people. You shouldn't laugh about people getting killed or denying FEMA funds or
Are
walk
you-
cars, whatever. But
Steven, what are you interested in? Growing the biggest audience or being a politically effective pundit? Which one matters to you more?
it's a combination of the two.
Why are these mutually exclusive?
Sure, but which one would you prioritize more?
I don't know right at this point in time right now. But I mean, hold on.
Okay.
Are the most politically effective pundits the people that are like doing the inclusive to all people, or the people that are engaging in like the most derisive and the most like condescending rhetoric?
I don't think that Asmongold is engaging in the most derisive and condescending rhetoric. No, I think like the strongest that we have, he's just not. He's being nasty, but it's somewhere in between, right? Asmongold, for example, has some level of like being reasonable, being like, man, it's really shit
sorry.
when conservatives do
Did
this
he
stuff.
not
I'm
dress up like a Pokemon trainer to catch illegal immigrants? Is that not?
Well, he
derisive?
said he would. He said he would. He
made
said
the
he would.
Muslim jokes, and then he walked back the Muslim jokes because he pissed or not even
Yes.
Muslim joke.
He does
He
bad
did the
things.
spicy Muslim statement, and then he walked it back immediately because he knew he pissed off a bunch of people.
He
because
didn't walk
picked
it
on
back
his
because he walked it back because he got banned for a week. That was a different. He got banned.
Oh,
for
bullshit. Some people actually have feelings, Steven. He can actually feel some level of
You think
contrition.
Asmongold feels bad about offending Palestinians?
Maybe.
No,
He's got
no,
like
I don't.
60
I think
IQ.
Asmongold. Here, I'll be super straight. I think
Asmongold
Asmongold cares
wants to
about
come
growing his
on, we
audience.
can ask him.
I think the most important thing to Asmongold is growing his audience fundamentally. However, some things I've noticed him say over and over and over again, for example, is he constantly tells his audience to not be racist. Now, I would put to him and say, it's a little hypocritical to go dress up like a Pokemon trainer and chase around illegal immigrants while also saying don't be racist. Feels like this is going to lead to the same thing. I'd be right with you on the hypocrisy of Asmongold. However, he's also doing things like when people were covering like the super fat chick that was talking about men's issues, he like told his audience like, I think 5 or 6 times to stop mocking her weight and that this isn't anything about her like beauty or looks and that they should only talk about ideas, right? So I'm not saying that Asmongold is this perfect arbiter of what we should be like. What I'm saying is he's a pretty good example of retarded middle. He's a pretty good example of it. Somebody who doesn't know what the he's talking about. He's just kind of like jumping on waves that will make him popular. And the question to me is, will Asmongold ever talk to you now that you've gone scorched earth with him?
Asmongold wouldn't talk to me before I went scorched earth with him. So
what about Tectone?
I have no idea. Probably not as well. Didn't we literally try to schedule something with him and he bailed?
No, he first of all, he bails all the time because ADHD
okay, so then the answer is no. So brother, it didn't matter.
No, he has been absolutely willing to come on your show up until the point, unironically, he canceled the show on me, thanks by the way, because of the you said about him.
Yeah,
he's been willing to engage with
just
you
to
the
be clear,
entire
he was
time.
willing to come on the show and kept either missing flights or saying he didn't want to travel to Florida or just didn't do it. So no, I don't buy that for a second.
Okay, that's really handy. It's really handy for you.
Well, what was he planning on coming on supposedly like months and months earlier, but never managed to make his way down or had to cancel?
Yes, he was planning to come on for a long time, and he is a flake, but that doesn't mean that he's not willing to talk to you. And I have a feeling that if I messaged him and we had some level of rapport and asked if he'd be willing to talk to you pre all this, like you mocking him for his dad, he probably would have said yes.
I'm actually going to back up Erudite. He talked to fucking Chud Logic.
The fact that he
talked to Chud
that's
Logic.
great that he talked to Chud Logic.
Talked to Chud
if
Logic.
I have to play nice with somebody who's going to weaponize their dad's veteran military service, you
nice.
are. You keep trying to say
No,
it. In
I'm
other words,
not.
I'm not asking you to play nice. I'm
I'm
just saying
saying
don't say
be
these certain
nice.
jokes. Even though
No, stop. I'm asking you to be nice in the right ways and mean in the right ways. I think when you are mean to certain people is absolutely effective. When you humiliate people who have extreme beliefs that nobody would get on board for example, when that like Endure guy got mocked by Melina, that was super effective. We were super mean to him and it destroyed his career because nobody thinks you should endure abuse. It's a insane thing to say.
Why
right?
isn't
When
the
you
standard
go
the
after
same on the
Matt Walsh-
Republican side? Why isn't the standard the same on the Republican side?
Because they're awful people, and
So
to
do you
be
think
clear,
it's ineffective? Wait. Do you think it's ineffective for them? You think they're
ironically doing evil?
You think that it's hurting their political effectiveness when they're mean to everybody?
Yes.
Yes. Now.
Yes.
They're
I
getting
think the
foisted by their
issue-
own
the issue
petard.
is-
They
I'm
are
not even joking.
by their own petard.
Okay, so you can say this, but just to follow. So a great example of this is the obsession with Leah Thomas. They obsessed over this swimmer girl forever, who I don't remember her. Maybe she was a huge piece of shit. Maybe she was making fun of dead kids and I just missed it. They made fun of her so hard that not only did they get all this trans shit rolled back in all these places, so they actually have like new laws passed because of it. They managed to get her awards revoked at her school. And they won all their
because
elections
going
and did all
after
things. So, like,
vulnerability.
where is the ineffectiveness of their messaging here? It seems like it worked really well.
All of these groups that you were talking about, for example, Leah Thomas, people are worried genuinely, and I think you are genuinely worried about this, is destroying fair play in sports. Leah Thomas is absolutely a person that we are under question about whether or not fair play
You're
is
just switched to
happening in
policy. I don't know why you're talking about policy right now. I'm talking about rhetoric.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Can I tell
in
you
the
how to
case
be
of
voiced
all of
by
this
their own
rhetoric,
petard?
you can't shame
I'll
50%
just put my
of the
hand up.
population, not because it's bad to, but because it's ineffective. Now, to be clear, the reason that they're effective in shaming these groups is because they're smaller populations. Does that make it evil? Yes, I disagree with them shaming trans people, which is why I fight with them about it all the time. However, the reason why they can do it and get away with it and not necessarily lose everyone is because they're not shaming 50% of the population. If you shame 51% of the population who voted for Trump, unfortunately, even if you are right to, and I think you are, I don't think it's wrong.
Hey,
I
look,
feel
Trump
embarrassed
said
by
that
them.
Democrats
Stop
are
interrupting
pests
me.
that need to be
Oh, no, no.
excised and won the
Stop
election.
it.
What are you talking
Stop. I'm not done.
Okay, we keep saying something wrong.
I'm done.
Sorry. Okay, cool. So Trump said that Democrats or the Republicans are saying that Democrats are pests that need to be excised from the
thing in my hand, right?
And they won. Like, this clearly is not like, oh, well, it's because of the small group that it worked. No, it works when they demonize Democrats. It works when they demonize every minority. It works when they
You're
demonize
doing it again. You're
immigrants.
literally
they
doing the
demonize
thing.
all these
They
people
did win
and
over
it
divisive rhetoric. Actually, they did. Tee hee ooh woo. Which
I'm
is
saying
it?
it
So I
does
feel
not.
you got a
I'm
fucking
saying
pick. I would argue.
So
I
easy
would
to
argue.
understand. Hold on, Tyler. I know you're smart. You can understand this. Tyler, please listen to me because you're asking me a question.
8
Tyler,
years
please.
of advertising, and Kamala had 3 fucking months, and our incumbent fell into dementia. Unfortunately,
I'm not disagreeing with you, and
That's
if you
why-
listened to me earlier too, you'd know I said this is not
You're duller than a
demonized point.
broken
This clearly
sandwich.
is not such a poison thing that it's alienating everyone. If he can talk about more than half the country about like this and still win. Okay.
Okay,
Kind of
on
So
my
what
list
I would
of
like to
issues-
say, I've waited patiently. Thank you, appreciate you, love you. Anyways, so what I would like to say is that you asked for an example where Republicans are actually suffering for their rhetoric, and what I would say to you is it took a fucking decade. But what?
He said, "Don't say Epstein."
No, I will. I 100% will.
Oh my
Fuck you.
God.
I wouldn't.
Because it has nothing to do with
Hold on,
rhetoric
hold
at
on.
all. It has nothing to do with rhetoric. You're going to waste
Listen to
5
Bucky
minutes
Bucks for
yapping on
5
the most
minutes. Shut up.
irrelevant shit in the world. Oh my god.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. I'm sick of your shit. All right. So they prime people to think that LGBTQIA are fucking groomers. They prime them to think that fucking every gay person was a pedophile. They talked about how the demon rats, do you know where I heard demon rats? Demon rats are fucking pedophiles, and they're trying to groom your kids. They're trying to fuck your kids, and they're trying to make them trans and all that kind of stuff. So they did a decade of fucking propaganda about how pedophiles are the most unique evil on the fucking face of the planet. And then Donald Trump tries to fucking sweep the Epstein files, and it finally cracks the fucking base. Finally, there's something that they were primed in order to hate so much that even when their cult leader told them, hey, change your tune on a dime 180 degrees, half the base said, you were not changing.
Right,
And
and
don't
Connor,
tell
the
me just
reason
because
this isn't-
reading
this is-
my
no,
argument, you're not going to use it as an example.
No,
Bullshit.
the reason, Condor, the reason it's a bad example is because what you just described was decades of demonizing people, being incredibly mean, and taking all these marginalized groups and just absolutely disparaging them, and it working. And then the thing that's breaking is that he's now lying and saying, "Actually, I never cared about that. Also, Epstein's not a big deal." Not that he stopped being
Why would you
mean.
get a volunteer? Hold on. So do you think it was evil that they vilified gay people and trans people and other groups in order to be pedophiles for a decade? Was that good or bad?
Obviously, that was bad, and I'm not
Wait, wait, wait,
advocating the same a lot of demonization. But that's not.
When you say good or bad with respect to what? It was effective. It worked, didn't it? How many times? I bet even you were probably on
very
shows
effective. It
saying
was very bad.
I bet,
I'm
hold
making
on.
a moral
Were
judgment.
you one of those people that were saying the most effective ad was saying that Donald Trump is going to be president for us and Kamala Harris is going to be president for they them? Like, well, this is all hateful rhetoric that seemed to have been pretty effective. No.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
it
issue,
was
the
fucking
question
effective
is,
until they got
when it's
hoisted by
deemed
their own
effective.
petard. Do you want me to watch you guys go charging down the wrong direction for a fucking decade and then have somebody grab your underwear and give you a wedgie so hard that it goes through your fucking asshole and rips your body in half? Because if
You know what?
you do that,
If I
I'll
can,
let
if
you
I
do
can
it.
steal a Supreme Court justice seat, if I can have both halves of Congress, and if I can have a fucking authoritarian leftist fucking president for 8 fucking years, then yeah, sure, I'll take a wedgie at the end of all of that. Okay, to eliminate things like
Lost
Roe
your
v.
soul.
Wade,
Lost your
affirmative
soul.
action.
You lost it.
Just like,
Got
what
it.
do you mean? Yeah, no shit.
You're duller than a broken sandwich.
the stuff and got me an ace machine.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. "30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned. Has been slain. An ally has been slain. has been slain. soon. turret. Your team has destroyed a turret. An enemy is unstoppable. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor. An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill. Your turret has been destroyed. Enemy rampage. Enemy killing spree.